Hello listeners, it's Mark here, and this special SLP show is going to be here to talk you through the biggest game of the season so far, the Rugby League World Club Challenge between the Wigan Warriors and the Sydney Roosters, the Super League champions versus the NRL premiers. And to talk us through this show, we've got a little bit of a special episode as well, and we hope you enjoy all the things we've been able to put together for you. So first of all, we're going to cut in a little bit from the Wigan Fan TV episode. Given the title of that show, you'll realise that it's Wigan focused, and we'll start off with a very optimistic beat. It's myself, and I join Sean Lawless and Matt McCauley to talk about the Wigan game from a Wigan fan perspective. We're all pretty optimistic. Let's be fair to say. It's not the full episode that I'm putting in here, so do go and search for Wigan Fan TV on Facebook and on Twitter and YouTube as well, and watch the full episode there. After that, we've got one of our other regular co-hosts, Alan. He's going to come in and talk through the poll we put up, some of the listener views we got in from you guys, and then also Alan's view as a neutral ahead of the game. And then Steve Mascord will join us as well to talk a little bit about the way the game is viewed in Australia, a little bit about the future of the World Club Challenge as well, and his views on how the game will go.
Right, let's not delay the inevitable. Let's talk about the big one this weekend. It's a game where it means absolutely nothing unless you're involved, but it does really. You just try and sort of hide it. All the other clubs, they're not really bothered about it. It's just a glorified friendly. But when you're involved in it, it means the world. And when you've won it 4 times, it means absolutely everything as well. Matt, before we sort of go into how Wigan may win, can Wigan win, first of all?
I think, yes. I mean, absolutely no question that Wigan can win. We've got, this new tactic we've got of seeing how quickly we can make the opposite team score. We've got to drop that for this game, because that's not going to help us.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, we can. There is the possibility that we can do this.
Yeah, Mark. Before we go into too much detail, do you think Wigan can win, or is you going to tell us some stats that have come from Super League Pod? I'm sure, but nobody thinks that we can win unless you're a Wigan fan, surely.
I think I know of a few non-Wigan fans who are backing us. On that count, I suppose, if we're going to be serious for a second, just for 1 second, not too many seconds. Okay. I want to be in dreamland like Matthew was last week. But if we're going to be serious for just 1 second, we've got our season up and running. We've maybe got a couple of our rusty games defensively out of the way, hopefully. So they haven't had a proper hit out. They're going to have some training sessions. But what's this playing at 70% against Saints? How's that work? But they're going to have a few post-training sessions, but that's about it. So we're already in stride, and we've seen our combinations of start. They're not there yet, but they're starting to get there. Of course we can win. I mean, we beat Cronulla 2 years ago when no one thought we had a chance, and we absolutely hammered them. I mean, they had a couple of chances. We had to defend our line really well in the first half, but we really were the better side that day, and I don't see why we can't do it again. I know the Roosters are maybe a little bit classier. Tedesco, I mean, what a player he is, but we can do this.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you look at, I think when you compare it to Cronulla, you look at Cronulla were missing Valentine Holmes. They were missing, obviously, Ben Barber from the grand final for one reason or another, probably the other. And they had injuries going into that game, and they were sort of fixing up a little bit, but they still had a decent pack. And Wigan, obviously, like you said, we beat them quite comfortably in the end. But this is a team with Cooper Cronk and Tedesco and Luke Carey, and basically a lot of
Boyd Cordner,
who won the World Cup pretty much for Australia, didn't he? And he's a joint captain. Jet Friend's come over as well, if I remember rightly. This is a side of superstars that we're playing. Is the key? Is the fact that, and I think we do this deliberately as a Super League and the RFL or whoever organises it, how much of a level it is the fact that Sydney haven't played any pre-season games. It's viewed more as a pre-season game to the Australian sides. Wigan have played 2 games, and the 2 games that they've played have been St Helens, Leeds. They've been big games for Wigan to get involved in. Matt, do you think that puts it on a level? Is that going to be the difference, or is it just a case of best team wins, or are Wigan going to get that little bit of an advantage?
If Wigan win, I'm going to say it wasn't an advantage. It's just because we were better. But the truth is, I'm hoping it does work in our favour. There are other things too. I mean, do we know whether Powell has got a ban for putting his fingers in people's mouths?
Thankfully, he managed to get away with that.
There was nothing for Sam Powell on that one, no.
I've just spoken to my dad about that, actually. I was actually concerned when that got put to report, because I thought, if they look at this, what the hell is his hand doing there? You know, I know that happens
it
all
live
the
in the
time.
stadium without the benefit of people chatting on the TV and sort of you could hear what the conversation with the ref was. We thought it was about Powell eye gouging was what we were worried about. So, because his hand was all over his face, it was nonsense, wasn't it?
That lad has his fingers everywhere. But no, I was actually quite disappointed with it was Luke Gale's response, was it? Who's got some teeth himself, hasn't he? Didn't he say if you put your fingers near someone's mouth, you can expect them to be bitten? Well, my dentist certainly doesn't agree with that.
I think that applies to dogs, doesn't it? I think he's getting confused. I think it's more dogs.
But anyway, I mean.
Well, maybe that's what we're saying Mikolaj Alecki is. I don't know. Are we the prop forwards union? They're all chomping at the bit.
Sorry, Matt. Go on.
So no, I mean, if we've got a full, squad to choose from, we need it. So hopefully, no bans, no injuries. With a bit of luck, we'll have Sargentson back. We need everything to go in our favour, don't we? Absolutely everything to go in our favour.
We'll touch on the squad in a minute, because I think one of the big things as well, that one of the big questions still amongst us Wigan fans, we always have to have a moan about something or a confusion about something, and it is that decision of 4 forwards on the bench. I'll come on to that just a second, because I think that's a really interesting byproduct of the interchange rule more than anything. I think that's the biggest influencer. But Mark, where do Wigan win this game? Is it a case of we try and beat them up front in the forwards early on, bearing in mind this is the same, obviously different personnel, but in 2014 when we played the Roosters, Sean Wayne came back and said we need bigger forwards, we need a monster pack to deal with teams like that, and then we ended up signing Frank Paul Nuasala from them, and the rest is history. Where do we beat the Roosters? Is it a case of fitness? Do we beat them in the forwards? Because a back line that's got Cooper Cronk, a team that's got Cooper Cronk in, is going to be very difficult to beat.
Oh, are you asking me?
I'm asking Mark. Sorry, I thought Mark.
Oh, sorry. Resilience, isn't it? That's what we've got in absolute spade loads. That's what's won us 2 grand finals in 3 years. I think resilience and fitness to an extent, but that, and we're a little bit honed in after a couple of games. I really think we're going to win. I don't know if I'm just in dreamland, but I really think we're going to win. So we go out there and perform, with that attitude that Sean Wayne instilled in this squad. But also Lammy's going to know a few little... He won't want to break his little lad's heart, bless him, out there in the biggest game of his career. But he's going to send the big lads at Lachlan. He's going to know Lachlan's weaknesses. If he had to pick him up afterwards, Mum can have a word. They can all cheer up. But during the game, I think he's going to know their weaknesses quite well. And so I just think we've got a couple of players as well. I think they won't all really understand how to legislate for. Sean O'Loughlin, there's no one like him in the NRL. There's no forward who can pass the ball that well, who's that much of an option in the passing game in the NRL anymore, because they're all just robotic, muscle-bound units. So that's an advantage we have over Australian clubs anyway, so the more time he can spend on the field. And I just think, we've got quality. We're not got international Australian players and origin players across the pitch, but we've got quality players. We're at home. There's going to be 20-odd thousand of us all cheering him on. It's going to be noisy, and we're not noisy very often, unfortunately. And I'd like to know why there was only 11,200 people there on Friday night. But I hope there's at least twice that many on next Sunday, and we can really get behind the boys. And resilience and crowd support. We're going to get over the line. Wigan by 8. Don't worry about it.
Okay, right. Relax. Let's end the show then. Mark, how do you solve a problem like Sargentson? Say Sargentson's out injured, what do you do?
First of all, I think it's amazing that we're talking about Dan Sargentson in this way because Wigan fans didn't want him back at the start. I think it's a credit to Sargentson how he turned his form around last season. Do you know what I realised with Dan Sargentson? He missed one of them through injury. He missed one of them through injury. I think 2015 he missed through injury. But every single season that he's been a Wigan Warriors player, Wigan Warriors have played in the Super League Grand Final. And in 2 of those, he was a big part of big wins. But that's an aside. I'd go with what you were suggesting. I'd have how we finished on Friday. I would start with, but I'd have Escaré on the bench. I'm not sure Hankinson. I like Hankinson. I'm just not sure it's the game for him. Even without Latrell Mitchell, they've still got some great players around that outside back division to come at us. So I go with how you went. And then I'd have Escaré rather than Samet as my wild card player, just because Samet's going to be kicking game. Yeah, you need everyone else to have the pace and energy to support that, really, for it to really make a difference. Whereas Escaré himself is going to be the live wire. And do you know, I remember questioning Escaré defensively before he came to us because that was the big question mark over him. And in that first World Club Challenge game he played, which would have been his 3rd game for Wigan, I think, against Cronulla, 2nd or 3rd game for Wigan. There was a kick. There was a kick that he took that was a really hard take, and people were running at him and were going to knock him out. And I thought, this is Escaré dropping it all over, spilling it, putting us under pressure. And he took the kick, and he just rose in confidence from that moment, and that's one of the reasons why we all love him so much as Wigan fans. That moment, those couple of moments in that game where he stood up and didn't drop the ball when everyone thought he would. So I'd have him on the bench, but maybe start with how we finished against Leeds.
Escaré's dad provided me with my favourite memory of winning the World Club Challenge, and I've said this on here before, but we were sat next to Morgan Escaré's dad, who speaks as fluent English as I do French. So the conversation was obviously limited. But it was just obviously you knew it was Morgan Escaré's dad just because every time Morgan Escaré got the ball, his dad sort of dropped down about 4 rows because he was trying to play on the pitch with him. But then he just burst into tears when the full-time whistle came, and just the raw passion of this guy who'd flown over from France to watch his son play in his 2nd game for Wigan, just beat the best team in Australia. Had a fantastic game, like you said. He was a goal kicker as well, and I think he was pretty spot on with his goal kicking. And my friend who was with his dad, they had a handkerchief, and just this sort of such a small thing, but just this guy from Wigan passing this French guy a handkerchief to wipe away his tears of pride of his son winning the World Cup Challenge is something that I'll never forget. And I hope there's still happy tears on Sunday, even though he won't be playing, and you all need to get over that because they're going to go with 4 forwards on the bench. Prediction time. Matt, how are Wigan going to win? I assume they're going to win, and what score is it going to be? And who are you pointing? Who are you pointing the finger at? Who is going to make the World Club Challenge their own? If you think every World Club Challenge probably has a player that sticks in the memory from when Wigan have won, whether it be Sean Wayne, Joe Burgess in 2017, who's going to make the World Club Challenge 2019 their game, Matt?
I think, and I'll answer this in a roundabout way.
You will answer it though, will you, this time?
Yeah, I will answer it, I promise. We are clearly underdogs. Having said that,
what's the obsession with dogs on this show tonight?
I don't know. It's gone all doggy, hasn't it?
Yeah, but Joel Monaghan's not even been mentioned.
Yeah. Best we don't. Yeah. But my granddad had an underdog. He had a little dachshund called Sooty, right? And Sooty had a way of taking down bigger dogs. He would run underneath them, clamp onto the family jewels, and bring them down. I swear, I once saw him take down a Rottweiler like that, and a postman. So that's what it is. It's all about the tackle for the underdog. And so if we're going to win this, I think it's going to be the tackle. It's going to be defensive. So it's going to come from, the likes of Flower, Hamlin, Navarrete, the
If you name 17 people, I am going to drive down to your house and strangle you.
But this is it. It is going to be a team effort. But I think the Magic